So I'm going to use some furniture wax that I had laying around the shop, but you can use Vaseline instead of this. It's much cheaper, but this is what I had laying around, so this is what I'm going to use. So what I have is some 1/4 inch clear tubing, and inside of the tubing I have a wire fish that is no longer working, or it was broken or cracked, whatever. So I just cut that to put it inside of the tubing in order for the tubing to stay somewhat rigid, so it doesn't do what this side of the tubing is doing, such as just curling up like this. I can run the tube all the way through the table and drill a hole inside of each dam and then seal around it, but what I've found in the past when I've tried to do that is I always have a leak somehow, some way. So what I figured is I could just put this in here. I'm going to trim off the 2 ends anyway, so it's going to work out, and then I'll be able to pull out this tube from the resin. It's probably noteworthy to mention that this tube is for the black UV LED lights that I plan on installing in here. So I don't have to glue them on the bottom. I can just run them through the tube. Put a little bit of hot glue inside of the end right here to seal it up. All right, so that's good news that I can move this little rod around. So that means I did not have a leak inside of the clear plastic tube that I put through the table. So I have a flathead screwdriver and a pair of pliers. I'm gonna see if I can push this thing from the other side, see if it'll come out. As soon as I made the first pass with my router and my router plane, I noticed that it skimmed on top of the beads, as you can see right here. I've already sanded with 40 grit, then 60, 80, 100, 120, 150, 220, and now I'm going to go with my soft sanding pad and 320 grit sandpaper for the final sanding, and then I'm gonna try to figure out what I'm gonna do with this. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that there's too much I can do. I do have some other beads that are exactly like this, but I don't really know how I'm supposed to cover up those black spots. So I don't know, we're just gonna have to see. I got some gold dye mixed with resin. So I have a pencil, no lead. Alright, so the second mistake I made is I didn't completely cover this clear tube I put through the resin. Partly because I didn't have enough room, or the wood was not thick enough for me to completely cover the tube and still have room for the beads on top. So I need to find a way to hide this in the resin, because I of course can't do anything about what I did with the tube. So what I'm gonna do is try to paint the back of this LED light strip a similar color to the purple that I have at the bottom of this table. I have this purple here, which is obviously not close to the purple that I have here, as you can see. Pour a little bit of paint in here. That's just not gonna cut it. And I'm gonna link all this stuff up in the description down below, so be sure to check that out. I can mix a little bit of this with this purple until I can get that tint. That's close. That's about as close as I'm gonna get it, or as close as I wanna get it.